Now, some people are going to say I'm very childish and immature for this kind of video. And for that, I'm not even going to say sorry, because that's part of my character. I am sometimes very immature and childish. Hence why people can't believe I'm 40. They go, well, maybe you don't act 40. And that's helping me not be my age. But you know what? I don't care. I'm here to have a laugh with you guys. And that's what this video is all about. I've written a list here of what I think are some really funny names of watch brands. Some of them are easier to find than others, but I did a lot of research to find and cherry pick out, I think, 10 funny ones. And I'm just going to run through those with you now, because I just think it's just an example of how language is interesting, and it's funny how different countries and different places in the world, names don't always translate very well. And that's where we're going to go today. So let's get on with it. Now, I could easily recap loads that you've already heard of, like Pagani Design, Parnis, things like that. I mean, obviously Parnis just sounds far too close, like penis, and we can't be wearing a penis on the wrist unless that's your thing. But Pagani Design as well, it just sounds like they're trying too hard to go Porsche Design, and Pagani as an exotic European car brand, you know, it's just a bit, it's weird laziness, but it sounds okay, you know. It's like Invicta's another example. It's a very bold statement for, like, you're the pinnacle, you're the best, you're powerhouse. And if you look at Invicta watches within the market, they're not that. They are, if you want to look like you're wearing a massive gladiatorial piece on your wrist, you can't go wrong. But that's a whole other ball game. I could do a whole video just on Invicta watches, and it wouldn't just all be hate, because I think it's so varied. This video is about some slightly more obscure ones I don't think many of you have heard of. The first one, I've written a long list here. I've had to cherry pick out a few. There's one that the brand name is SHD. This is a perfect watch for anyone who works in a library and they want to just remind themselves that they have a quiet timepiece and they wish everyone else in their environment to be quiet. Shushing everyone. So it's slightly passive aggressive. So if you're a passive aggressive librarian, this is the watch for you. Any of the shushed line. Next up, do you like bread related goods, and are you also a sporty person in motorsport, for example? Get yourself a Bagel Sport. Nothing more sporty than a Formula 1 car sporting bagels for tyres instead, maybe. There's a real future, I think, in food-based sports. So I think Bagel Sport are onto something. So if you're into that kind of thing, get yourself a Bagel Sport. Now, I'm saving my two favourites for a little bit later on. I don't want to peak too soon, because I can't believe these two brands exist. So bear with me, they will be coming. I can't believe they exist. It's hilarious. But I'm going to move on to this company is German, and it's Wanker. Oh, sorry, no, Wanker. And they basically do watches that very much like a Zinn or a Damasco or Ginand, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Really hard to pronounce some names as well. But Wanker watches, they're good if you want to say that about yourself. And someone says, what are you wearing on your wrist? And you just say Wanker. People obviously think you're very rude. Apologies if anyone here is a hypersensitive snowflake and doesn't like naughty words. But I'm sorry. Maybe this is the watch for you. While we're on to rude names, which most of these are variable in that, we have a Fukang. Now, are you Fukang serious about this? I am. Some people are going to say, well, actually, that's a district in China which is highly respected for its watchmaking. I'd say you need to Fukang off, because Fukang just sounds like what it is. Another one, if you know anybody who's a bit free with their affections, or they're a bit rude, they need to get themselves a snut. It sounds very similar to slut or smut. So if you want someone who's mildly dyslexic and is a bit of a slag, get themselves one of these snut watches. And it's a fashiony, dressy watch, so it could be perfect for a Friday night out in some grotty town, and they can proudly wear their snut on their wrist. Do you have a relative which is often a bit vague, doesn't give all the details? Are they a distant cousin? Maybe you need to get yourself one of these vague cousin watches. Now, I had to dig deep to find one of these, but I think if this reminds you of something in your life, which is a family member which doesn't always regale all the details of their life or a situation or story, this would be perfect for you, the vague cousin. Now we're getting to some really obscure territory here. There is a brand called Dear Fun. Now, I can interpret this many ways. Obviously, I have an incredibly childish mind, so I'm thinking, I'm going to use this word. Do not Google it. Reality. Do not look that up. Do you like to have fun with deer? Are you that way inclined? Wear a Dear Fun watch. If someone in another country goes, hey, I like deers, and someone says, hey, I like fun. Hey, that's a brand name, that is. Deer, you like them. Me, I like fun. We have it. Let's put that on our dials of our watches and promote that we like deers and having fun. I don't know how that has even got through the sort of the board meeting, if they even have those kind of things, or did they just pay someone who spoke a little bit of English to go choose 2 words, put them together, done. Maybe that's it. I'm hoping I don't get a strike for this. So any snowflakes out there that don't like naughty words, I'm really sorry. Now we've got 3 more. There's one here which I actually have to spell this out. Lgxige. Unless you're Welsh or from a country where it's very common for you to mix letters that just don't normally go together hand in hand to make it roll off the tongue. If it just sounds like a noise, get yourself one of these Lgxiges. If someone says, "Oh, that looks like a smartwatch. What's that on your wrist?" Just say, "Well, it's a Lgxige." Now, my favourite 2 I've saved to the end. Hand Love. Going back to the previous German brand, Wanker, if you're into that kind of thing, Hand Love is another brand for all of those out there who like to pleasure oneself and wear a watch to remind you of that. Do you just love your hand and you want to celebrate that by wearing a watch called Hand Love? I can't believe this brand exists. How can anyone not realise that just saying Hand Love sounds ludicrous? I know in English it does. I don't know how it translates to other countries. I just thought that was hilarious. Now the last, this is not a joke. None of these are jokes actually. Muff diver. Anyone from the UK knows what a muff is, and anyone who's watching this video doesn't know what a muff is. It's a part of a lady which is very, very private. The hairy bit. It's really awkward to say, but that is what we call. That's what we call a muff. And a diver, you just put it together. If you're a muff diver, you know what you're going to be doing with the muff area. So to wear a watch, which you can buy, you're seeing pictures, called a muff diver, just for joke value alone, I'd spend the 70 odd pounds on wearing one of those. Just say, someone says to you, "That's a nice looking watch, snazzy dial." What's that? It's a muff diver. Depends on who's asked you the question. You might get a slap, or you'll just get a raucous laughter, or someone will look at you like you're a demented pervert, which is probably all of the above. So there you have it. I'm sorry if I've been extremely rude and upset anyone, but I'm trying to do things differently. This is my character. I like to swear a lot, and I like to talk about some more obscene, disgusting things occasionally. Why not slip it into my audience? That sounded bad as well, but what I'm trying to say is, there's some fun out there to be had with watches. It's not just all, look at this cheap thing, look at that expensive thing. Funny names, for me, it's funny, and I just think it's harmless fun. And if you found this harmless fun, hit the old subscribe button, and hopefully you'll enjoy and find some more videos that tickle your fancy. Thanks for watching, guys. And those of you who have watched till the end and still been offended, I'm impressed.